to the Vampire edition of Amiga Retro Adventures. Today I will be installing the Vampire 600 version 2 in my Amiga 600. But before I do that, as you can see, I know I have to have the computer apart to install this, but initially I had an issue with the keyboard not wanting to do the reboot, like so, the warm reboot. And all that was the cable had to be taken out and cleaned, so thank God that's all that was, because it wasn't anything electronic, because that would have been a pain. But that was a simple fix, cleaned it up with a bit of contact cleaner, and that was that. I also want to replace the floppy drive, which there's nothing wrong with it, it's a bit beat up, but it works, with a high density and double density version, which is supposed to fit in these computers that I got off of eBay. One of the reasons why is the images that I have to copy over to this machine, basically the firmware updates for the Vampire themselves, I believe Core 2.11, 2.11, I'll be putting on there. Well, I don't really have, I guess I could use the PCMCIA slot, but I kind of keep this really retro. So what I want to do is put them on floppy on my Amiga 1200, which has a high density floppy, and then I can load them into the computer directly using the disk. And anyway, I want the 600 to have the high density floppy as well, since it will have the Vampire, so I guess it's fitting to get this thing as beefed up as possible. So other than replacing this, which I'll do off camera, another thing that annoys me about this computer, I mean another as in there's a lot, but if there's a few things, is this. Very short, and sorry, now you can see it, is this. They always break on me whenever I take them off. They're kind of awkward to get to, because they plug through. I can zoom in here. Through the keyboard here into a header, kind of like a floppy, as you can see, right? But they're not very long, and they tend to break quite easily. So I'm going to fix that once again off camera, and once the floppy is done and this cable is fixed, we will get to the heart of the matter of installing the Vampire 600 version 2 in my Amiga 600. So I will be right back. Okay, I have returned. So, try not to trip over the tripod here. We're pretty much ready to go. I repaired the status LED, basically for the case. So that's this here. So it's like power, disk drive, and floppy access. So as you can see, I repaired it. Put a zip tie in here, hopefully a bit more strain relief so it doesn't break off the individual wires like it did before. And it's a bit of a longer cable, so we'll see how well that works, because the ones they put on there are way too short and you break them off half the time trying to take them out of here, off of the motherboard. So here we go. This is the Vampire, the 600 version 2. I successfully installed the high density floppy. I hope it works. It makes clicking noises when it boots up, so we'll find out soon enough. So what we're going to do is, to prepare for this, I'm not going to dive right in to do the hardware installation. Currently there is an Indivision 020 that's in this, running at, God, it's been such a long time. You know what, how about I just run sysinfo to find out what on earth I'm talking about. Utilities, sysinfo, speed. So it's a 68 AC020, so no MMU, and it's running at a whopping 18 megahertz. I think it's 16 it's supposed to be, so it picks it up as 18, which is fine. Sorry about the flicker, it's in PAL unfortunately, and it makes it worse, but yeah, it's not too bad. And we're pulling in a whole 3.47 MIPS, which puts us at 2.73 times the speed of an Amiga 1200, or compare it against itself, you're 6.29 times the speed of an Amiga 600 unaccelerated. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off so I don't kill your eyes. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to my Amiga 1200 and I'm going to make the copy the firmware updates, the core, the 2.11, and I'm going to copy another file over as well, which will help flash. I'm not sure if anyone's heard about it, the new OS 3.1.4 ROM. There's a tool that you can download from the Apollo team as well that will let you flash the kickstart inside the Vampire core to the newest version. So I'll grab that file as well, and we'll see how all of this ends up working out. So I'm going to make those images off my Amiga 1200 and bring them over here, and they will be high density, and this will definitely be a good test to see if this drive that I bought off eBay is indeed high density capable. So I will be back shortly. Colors look really weird on this, but it's what it is. This is my Amiga 1200 in 1920 by 1080. It's actually running I use the Mediator bus board, so I have like Sound Blaster 16 card. I have what you would call it, the Voodoo 3 graphics card as well. I have 1 megabit Ethernet, sorry, 100 megabit Ethernet, and all that fun stuff as well. So it works pretty good, actually. It's one of those computers that I would never get rid of. How would that saying go? You can have my Amiga when you pry it from my dead, cold hands. Something to that effect. So this is Directory Opus, and so what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show you the whole process, but I'm going to take the high-density floppy here, put it into my tower, which you can't see because it's out of frame, and I also am going to grab USB drive, because yes, I also have the Spider USB 2.0 interface on my Mediator card. So I copied all this over on my PC, and I shall copy it over to the floppy. And it's right here. Cool, it's actually already named. Yes. So that's actually not, that's actually what's on the floppy disk. I don't need that. That was the 2.1 core. I'm gonna delete those. Eventually. Oh yes, floppy access. I forgot how slow it is. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the USB drive, which is called Mr. Drool, one of my many nicknames. And there's Vampire 2.1. So I'm going to copy the Vampire 2.11 core for the 600. I also have a 500 version as well. Lucky me. That's my other computer. And I also copy over the Sega driver, and I'm also going to copy over the flash tool. Remember I told you about this before. They'll let me flash the core, flash the core with the new 3.1.4 kickstart that was just released not too long ago. So I'm going to copy those over. And I won't put you through the boring, I won't put you through this, trust me. I will be back when this is all done. Okay, I have returned. On the other floppy disk, there's two. Remember the one with all the Vampire files, that I need. And the other one is hopefully the image that can be flashed, the ones I bought for the OS 3.1.4, which has a lot of neat new features. So we'll see if that works as well. So that there wasn't enough room on the other high density floppy, so I put another one on another one. So there's two total. And just so my Amiga 1200 doesn't feel neglected, it's an A1200 tower actually, which is in a very humble looking case right there. I also have a 1260/Power PC card in there as well with 256 megabytes of RAM. So that with the Mediator and all the extra PCI cards, it's a pretty good computer. Like I said, I'll never get rid of this one. It serves me well, and it's still quite usable even today. So that's pretty much it. I will get back to the computer workbench, and we will we'll install this. We'll install the Vampire. Be right back. Okay, back again, and now to install the card. If I could find out where I put it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it was right in front of my face. So I guess first thing is to remove the old accelerator card that's in here that I bought many years ago. First thing is to remove the cable. There's a retaining clip down here, which is always fun to get to. That is off. This actually clips into the top part of the case. It's actually pretty quick. But also a sign that the Commodore was definitely saving more money, because clips are cheaper than screws. At least that's what they tell me. Okay, you can see I slightly modded this as well. I have a compact flash card in here right now, which I'll be using a different version on the accelerator, the Vampire itself. So Phillips screwdrivers will remove this. Yeah, let me take this off first. There you go. I'll have to cut that off. I had a pair of scissors. Normally I would not recommend doing this, but it will work. There we go. I normally use side cutters, and that is free, well, for now. Okay, so it is, yes, it's an I cannot speak today, and I apologize, I do not know why. It's an ACA 620 EC from Indivision. Very nice card. 16 megahertz 020 gives you about 8 megabytes of RAM. And of course, Kickstart 3.1. But this chip can actually be removed. The Vampire will not be using it. We can do that at a later date. So I just have to grab the screwdriver, which is behind me. Oh, let's keep an eye on that. Maybe I can zoom in a bit more to the action part. Or the business, I should say. There we go. More. Sorry. Okay. Good enough. And here we go. Gently remove these screws. This has been a while since I've had this apart. The power is off, by the way, but just to make sure. There we go. I actually have another 600 that has another Indivision card, and it's an 030, I believe, without FPU, but it's an 030 nonetheless, and I believe it's a full-blown one too. So this should pop off easily. There you go. Yeah, it was held in by using the holes that were meant for the caddy for the hard drive. They're a bit chewed up, but there's no traces broken or anything like that, obviously, because the computer still works. But that is the card there that I am going to be replacing with the Vampire. Right there. Yeah. They're not bad little cards. I still think, there's my voice, my speech again. I still think you can buy these from Indivision or individual computers. Okay, so I'll put that off to the side. Okay, now the part we've all been waiting for. I haven't opened this yet. Let me zoom out a bit. Out. Okay, here we go. Oh, look, an instruction manual. It is tells you how to install everything. How nice. And it's pretty straightforward. It shows you the both versions, the V500 and the V600. I actually have one, a V500 in my 500, of course, which I put together about a year ago. And today, my very first 600 upgraded with this. So it's pretty straightforward. I don't really need the documents on that. This shiny red package. Oh, it looks too nice to open. And it's like blood red. I see a pattern here. Vampires, blood. I'm gonna cut this. I could tear it, but I will cut it instead. Keep that in frame. There we go. Toss that to the side. Oh, the suspense. I've never actually seen one of these in the flesh before. Okay, let's see what we've got here. If I can get it out of this bag. I don't know how they got it in this bag. Oh, that solves that problem. There we go. One thing I noticed that's odd about this. Oh wait, I spoke too soon. The mounting hardware. I got scared because just like the other processor you saw over there, it has to be held in place. So there it is. There is the get a better view here. The Vampire 600. I think this is version 2 of the card. Oh, revision 2.1. Excellent. Okay, so we'll put this aside gently, and I will look at these standoffs. I think they go into the holes or something to that effect. Yeah, very small screws. That goes all the way through to the top. Okay, this is going to involve me having to remove the motherboard by the looks of it. Let me quickly review the instructions and I will be right back. Yes, here we are, the disassembly phase. Yeah, it has to be mounted from the bottom, so of course I had to remove the hard drive, I had to take out some mounting screws, and now I have to take off the whole plate. The 500 version was much easier. You just plugged into the 68,000 CPU socket and that was it pretty much, but oh well. I should not complain. I've done this 1,000 times before. It's just a bit more involved. But if nothing else, it will at least be secure. I can say that much for sure. So as soon as I get these off, which will be any second now, there's a few less or a few more, a few less than the 500 because the most ports are over there on the other side. Get off there. I don't think you can see me doing most of this. Okay, that's better. Almost there. I have a feeling, yeah, this may not come off so easily. I've added a VGA port here for the adapters, many adapters, more individual computer products. So I have the, God, I used to know all these by name at one time, but this is basically an extension for the expansion port here. So it gives me the scan doubler for the video output. It gives me extra, it gives me a clock port as well here. You can hardly see it, it's kind of underneath. And this header here is for a possible USB, like the Rapid Road USB extension. Yeah, so anyway, I might have to wrestle with this for a bit to get this shielding off, so I will do that off camera and I will be right back. Well, I have returned. It was a horrifying process. The glue I used to hold in the VGA connector was a bit on the strong side. You see the shield, it looks a bit worse for wear there, but trust me, it looked a lot better than after I took it out. So I managed to get most of it back in. The bottom shield is always necessary because it helps bolt all the interfaces together and keeps the whole computer stable. So I had to reuse this. It's not in bad shape, and once it's together it won't look that bad, but at least it's still usable. That's how I look at it. Worst case scenario, I can always try to find another shield down the road, but I think it'll be fine. So now we need to install this. So let me get this moved into the right position. Right about there. Okay, so it says to mount these things in the right position. So I'm not going to seat this right now. I believe it goes on like this. So the hole I need is actually this one and this one by the looks of it. Yes. Hard drive holes from before. So it looks like it's all one piece. So it's gonna have to do this, I guess. It doesn't fit all the way through. Yeah, they're pretty tight. Should be fine. So I imagine it goes up through the bottom or up through the top. That is the question. Let me quickly look at the docs here. Okay. High quality images. One moment. Okay, they go up through the bottom, apparently. So I will turn this over. And the bottom, yes. Is that still in frame? Yes, it is. Right here. There's one. There's two. Flip it over. Spacer 1. Up, spacer 2. I don't know what kind of end is on these. It's like a very small. I don't know, you can hardly see because I'm zoomed in too much. Damn it, I gotta zoom out a bit more. Yeah, it looks like they're small hex heads, but I don't know. I don't have anything that's going to fit that I'm aware of. Let me see if I do, actually. I might have something. I will be right back. Okay, I found a very small square head screwdriver. I guess Robertson, if you want to call it that. So I will spray this contact cleaner and the socket. Wait for that to dry somewhat. Hopefully I can get this to line up. The instructions are not too specific on that part. I guess I could put them through after the fact. But it's because of these spacers, right? Get that out of the way there. Okay then. Where are we here? Oh, there it is. There. That one's in. Very precarious. Sorry about that. The battery has died. So let's try this again. So it looks like I can get it lined up. At least I am on the one side. The other side, not so much. Must coax it into position. It's a bit too far to the one side. There we go. So now they're positioned there. If I push it down, I hate that crunching noise, and it is all the way down. There we go. That looks good. Position that a bit better. Oops, that's not better. There we go. Okay. So now all I have to do is put these itty bitty screws on here. I have to zoom out for this part. That is not out. That is though. Okay. So what I have to do is attempt to put these screws on here, I mean these nuts, on these very small bolts. Excellent, that's one. Oops, that's not two. This is not working out well. Damn it. Sigh. Yeah, there's easier ways to do this. Let me not kick the camera. Can you still see that or not? No, not really. I guess you can. I will try to put this on and turn the bottom and see what happens. We'll attempt. There we go. Much better. Very small. This is just to retain it in place so it doesn't pop off and crash and all that fun stuff. Don't want to overly tighten it. Bend the board. That should be fine. And then this one here. If I can hold it with my finger. That is tight enough. So there's the screws on the bottom here, or should I say bolts, and then the orientation, and then they're right here. So they're a bit off center, but the hole does allow for that. So not too bad, not too bad at all. So I guess I will put this back in the case because I am that confident it's going to work. Yes. So this is a bit more about this monstrosity or collage of vehicles. What am I saying here? See, I told you, bad day for me. This is actually, without this on top, the scan doubler that gives you the VGA output, the one I had to remove. This is a 1 meg expansion by itself. And it also comes with this Rapid Road USB 2.0 extension. And then also you can plug in the real-time clock, which is that reddish board here. And this is the scan doubler. The ECS, I believe, Indivision ECS. Yeah, so I probably will take this off because this outputs what you call VGA. What am I saying again? It outputs HDMI, but I still might leave this installed. I'm not sure yet. Because apparently these cores will eventually do full AGA implementation, so it's hard to say if I'll need this or not, but we will find out. Okay, I'm going to throw this back into the slightly modified shield, which hopefully will fit fine, and throw it back in the case, and hopefully all will be well. So I will be back shortly, and then we'll get to power it on and see if nothing blows up, which I hope not, because that was not cheap. I'll be right back.